Morning children, welcome to today's class. Children, you all have received your FA3 timetable. I hope so you are ready to that, isn't it? Yes. So here children, before you attend your FA3, let us just revise once your FA3 portions. What is your test portion? Your test portion is lesson number 6, A Letter to a Daughter. Lesson number 7, Who's the Best? Poem, Give It Our All, and Ants and Spider. So your grammar portion is Unit 5, the adjective, kinds of adjectives. Unit 6, the adverb, kinds of adverb. Now you are aware of your test portions. Yes, let us know your question paper pattern, children. Rewrite as directed. First main, rewrite as directed. Half mark, each question carries half mark. Number of questions are 4. Total you have first main for 2 marks. Then second main, correlate the following. Each question carries half mark. Total number of questions are 4. Total marks you get is 2. And in third main, fill in the blanks. Each question carries half mark. 4 questions will be given. Altogether you get 2 marks. Then true or false. Fourth main, true or false. Each question carries half mark. You will be having 4 questions. So total you get 2 marks. Then fifth main, answer the following in one sentence. Each question carries 1 mark. You will be having 2 questions and altogether you get 2 marks. Then next main, summary of the poem. A poem name will be given. You have to write the summary of that poem. So you will have only one poem there. It carries for 2 marks. The next, answer the following in 2 or more sentences. So each question carries 1.5 mark. 4 questions will be given and altogether the main carries 6 marks. The next main, reference to context. 1 question will be given and it carries 2 marks. Altogether you get 2 marks. The whole total maximum marks of the question paper is 20. Yes, now you understood the question paper pattern. Now let us start your revision of your test portions. Yes children, now let us revise lesson number 6, A Letter to Your Daughter. Yes, in this lesson, Basavaraj is the father of Arshini. He is writing a letter to his daughter Arshini when she was staying in hostel. So usually he used to write a letter. In each letter he used to write a story to his daughter. In the first letter he had written a story about Punyakoti. Now he is writing a letter to his daughter. In this letter he is writing about Ekalavya. He is writing the story of Ekalavya. So Ekalavya, he was a hunter boy. He lived in forest. So while he was living in forest, he saw the prince of Hastinapura practicing archery. And he also wished to learn archery. He had a great desire to learn archery. So what did he do? He came to know that Dronacharya lived in Hastinapura and he was teaching the princess of Hastinapura. So now Ekalavya, he went and met Dronacharya. Dronacharya was a great teacher of archery. He went to Dronacharya and requested him to teach him archery. But Dronacharya refused to teach him archery because he was paid only to teach the princess of Hastinapura. So what did he do? But Ekalavya, he did not give up. So he just went back to the forest. He made a clay model of Dronacharya and accepted it as his real guru and started practicing archery in front of the clay model. Day by day he learned well and he became a great archer. He became an expert in archery. So this is about Ekalavya, the story written by Basavaraj. And later on, Ekalavya, he mastered the skill and became a great expert archer. So I think so now you understood the story, A Letter to a Daughter. So in this lesson, we come across some grammar points. What are they? First, we come across the opposites. Usually opposites means you will have a new word. But here prefix. A prefix means adding before. A prefix dis is added to get the opposite of the given word. For example, regard. So if you add dis to regard, if you prefix dis to regard, you get disregard. This becomes the opposite of regard. Yes. Now again, advantage. How to prefix this? Disadvantage. Advantage, disadvantage. Agree, disagree. Agree, disagree. So here I have added the prefix dis to form its opposite. I think so now you understood this meaning. Open your textbook, children. Page number 49. Yes, in that you have see. This is a prefix. It is used to show negative or opposite. Dis plus regard, disregard. Advantage, disadvantage. Agree, disagree. Appear, disappear. Like, dislike. Connection, disconnection. Continue, discontinue. Yes, you got this, I think so. Come to the next main, children. Correct the following statements and rewrite them in your notebook. As here a statement is given, you have to correct that statement. Ekalavya was a king. Was Ekalavya a king? No. So what is the correct answer? Ekalavya was a hunter. Ekalavya was a hunter boy. Yes, Ekalavya was a king. It's a wrong statement. So it is a wrong statement. The correct statement is Ekalavya was a hunter boy. Coming to the second one. Dronacharya was the prince of Hastinapura. Is it right? No, it is wrong. What is the correct sentence? Which is the correct statement here? Dronacharya was the great teacher of archery. Yes, Dronacharya was a great teacher of archery. Move to the third statement. Ekalavya made the clay model of his mother. Did he make the clay model of his mother? No, it's wrong. Ekalavya made the clay model of Dronacharya. Dronacharya agreed to teach Ekalavya. Did Dronacharya agree? No, wrong. Dronacharya refused to teach Ekalavya. Yes, I think so. Now you understand these points. Now let us move to next lesson. Now let's revise lesson number 7. Who's the best? Yes, in this lesson we learned the story about the king, an old king. Here this old king, he was ruling in a kingdom in Arabia. His kingdom was in Arabia. He was ruling that kingdom. This old king, he had a daughter called Jasmine. His daughter was Jasmine. So what do you call the son of a king? You call him as prince. What do you call the daughter of a king? You call her as princess. So Jasmine was a beautiful princess. Here, once this king, as he became old, he did not have sons. So he wanted his daughter to be married to a good prince who is an able prince to rule his kingdom and protect the people and take care of his daughter too. So therefore many princes, they approached to marry Princess Jasmine. Now to find who is the best among these princes, he gave them a test. What test did he give? He said, I will give you a 1 month time. I'll give you a month time. So who will bring the best gift to my daughter will marry her. This gift should be good for my kingdom also. So now the princess, three of them, they came there. Who were those three princes who took part in this test? They were Prince Faris, Prince Anush and Prince Zishan. These three princes, they came to marry her and they set out to bring the best gift for the princess, to bring the best gift to Jasmine. So they went back and after a month they returned. When they returned, now everyone were eagerly waiting to see what gift the princess have brought to Jasmine. The first one, Prince Faris, he stood up and he held diamonds and rubies in his hand. And he said to the king that he has brought this. Prince Faris, he stood up and showed diamonds and rubies and he said that I have brought these precious stones for Princess Jasmine. A king had them with him. I fought with him, killed him and brought these diamonds and rubies. So he fought, Prince Faris, he fought with a king who was having these precious stones, diamonds and rubies, and he brought it to the Princess Jasmine. Now next, now here Prince Faris, he only thought of the wealth, the precious stones. It is the wealth, isn't it? He thought of only wealth. Now the second one, Prince Anush, he stood up. He got up and showed a gun. He said, I have bought a gun to protect ourselves from our enemies. This gun can kill many people from a distance. So what did he say? Anush, he showed a gun and he said he have bought this gun to protect themselves, that means himself and the Princess Jasmine from the enemies. Now next came the third prince. Who is the third prince? It is Prince Zishan. Prince Zishan, he had brought nothing. He bowed to the king and said, I could not bring anything for the princess as I was busy the whole month. He said he was very busy the whole month. So he did not bring anything. So the king asked, what made you busy? So at that time he said that in his neighboring kingdom, some thieves attacked the villagers and they took away the cows and corns from them. So Prince Zishan, he fought with those thieves and he protected the villagers and he gave them, returned them back their cows and calves. And then he handed over these thieves to the king of that neighboring kingdom and he requested that king to protect his people. So now the king, he came to know each one what they have brought to the Princess Jasmine. So now it is the turn of the king to select who is the best suitable match to his daughter. Whom might have he choose, children? He chose none other than Prince Zishan. Why he did not choose the Faris and Anush? He did not choose Faris because Faris thought only about the wealth. But he did not choose Anush because Anush, he thought only to protect himself. Whereas Prince Zishan, he thought about others. He was brave and also kind because he fought against the enemies. He was brave and he was kind because he returned back to the villagers their cows and corns, and also he handed over the thieves to the king and he requested the king to protect the people. So therefore now the king decided Prince Zishan is the suitable match for his daughter. So all the people who had assembled there to see who is their next king, they were filled with joy and they all cheered, saying that long live the king, long live Prince Zishan. Yes, I think you have understood this, the summary of the lesson who is the best. Now let us move to the poem. Now let's learn the grammar that which we come across in this lesson. First we come across plurals. Yes children, here king, the plural of king is kings. King means only one, more than one, kings. Prince, princes. Yes. Here you can convert these into plurals by adding yes. Okay, by adding yes. Look at your textbook, page number 59, children. 6th main. Fill in the blanks with correct word. We say one king but many kings. We say one prince but many princes. We say one princess but many princesses. We say one cow but many cows. We say one thief but many thieves. We say one deer but many deer. See, here you are not adding yes to deer. The plural form of deer is deer itself. The plural of deer is deer itself, the same word. We say one sheep but many sheep. Even for sheep, it is the same word, children. There is no changes here. Next, fill in the blanks with a and the. A and the are called articles. You know already, I have explained you about it. For if there is a vowel, A, E, I, O, U or vowels, if there is a vowel, before the vowel you are going to put an. Now here, once there was dash old king. O is a vowel, therefore you are going to use an. If there is a consonant, you are going to use a. That is A. Dash king had dash beautiful daughter. You know particularly the king. So you are going to write the king. The is a definite article. The king had a beautiful daughter. Before B is a consonant, therefore you are going to use A. Next comes the genders. Here masculine gender and feminine gender. Masculine gender denotes male person. Feminine gender denotes female person or animal. King. King is a male. Therefore it is masculine. What is the feminine of king? Queen. King, queen. Son is a masculine gender. What is the feminine gender of son? Daughter. Let's look at your textbook, children. You have these two mains in your textbook. Page number 59, 7th main. Fill in the blanks with a, an or the. Once there was an old king. The king had a beautiful daughter. Many princes wanted to marry the princess. Each prince had to bring a gift for the princess. They were given a month's time. Everybody was curious to see the gifts brought by the princess. Finally, the king selected an able prince. Next, come to the next main, children, 8th main. Here you are going to match A column and B column. In the A column you have masculine gender. In the B column it is feminine gender. Father, mother. King, queen. Prince, princess. Son, daughter. Uncle, aunt. Brother, sister. Nephew, niece. I think so you got my point. Now come on, let us move to the poem side. Number 53. Yes, now let us move to the poem. Give it a all. The poet of this is anonymous. That means we don't know who is the poet here. The poet does not want his name to be familiar. Therefore, he has not disclosed his name, children, here. As in this poem, the poet speaks about her hope. That means always we should not give up. We should stick on to our goals. If there is any challenge or obstacles, you have to overcome it. Put your fingers on the text. Page number 53. Let's never give in to complaints nor fear. With our eyes on our goals, the right direction we steer. No matter the circumstances, with great effort, we should always try. We must pick ourselves up when we get bruised and we cry. Opportunities are plentiful. Let's just open our eyes. Our dreams we shall nurture as we stare to the skies. The trick is to create value that's honest and real. By following our passions, in our hearts we shall feel. If we never hold back and just give it our all, no challenge or obstacle shall ever be taught. So here the poet says you should not give up. You should not surrender to complaints and fear. Always our eyes should be on our goals. and this should be the right direction we steer. Steer means move. And no matter whatever the circumstances be, with great effort we should always try. And when you get hurt, when you fall, you should pick yourself up, you should get up. If you get hurt also, you should get up again, try. If you can't achieve it again, if you have attended a failure, you try again, so that you can win and achieve it. So whenever you fall, you should get up yourselves up, and then you should step forward. So opportunities will be more, and you should be always be awaiting for the opportunity. As the opportunity comes, you have to grab it, and then if you are ready to grab the opportunity, then of course your dreams will be nurtured. All your dreams comes true. Always you stare to the skies. That means always you have to be thinking about the higher thing. Always your goal and should be about the high position, so that you should achieve the tallest one. The trick is to create value. Here always you should be honest and real. Here you should be honest and real. You should have a real value there. So always you have to think only about the good things, and you should never hold back and give it. No challenge or obstacle shall ever be taught. So if you always stick on to your goal, no challenge or obstacle will be high. It becomes low. As you just keep on even trying, the challenge or obstacles will disappear itself, and of course you will be able to reach your goal. The poet says that you should never give up. You should always keep on trying and reach your goal. Let us move to the next poem, Ants and Spider. Is Ants and Spider written by Sheryl Sandberg. The poet is Sheryl Sandberg. As in this poem, what does the poet tell you? Come on, first let us read the poem once. Put your fingers on the text, children. Page number 62. Ants and spiders, Sheryl Sandberg. Behind the bush, upon the mound, ants are moving with no sound. Leaves are passed along the chain, ants has one a single brain. Strands of silver make a net, unseen web a silent thread. Fly is caught, it's far too late, spider comes to seal his fate. Ants march on to feed the queen, deep below she is unseen. Workers feed the silent drones in their capsule breeding zones. Spider shoots its web to reach across the ever-widening bridge. Swinging on a single thread, beyond the gap the web is spread. Yes, in this poem, here you can see the ants are moving here. Can you see? Yes, the ants are moving like a chain, one behind the other. One is leading the team, others are following him. And here in this picture you can see a spider. It has viewed its web, which is unseen. Can you see the spider's web? Suddenly when you look at the wall, you can't look at it. If you observe, you can see the web is unseen, because it will be a thin thread viewed by the spider. Yes, here the poet says that behind the bush, upon the mounds, ants are moving with no sound, like a chain they are moving. With a single, ants has one a single brain. So one is the leader there, so others are following it. So these ants, when they move like a chain, what do? They collect the food and they feed the queen, which is deep below in the mound, which is unseen. So it will be deep below in the mound, so that which you can't see. The ants move there and they feed the food. You can see small ants will carry some food in their mouth and will be moving. Is it? These food they go and collect it and they keep it under deep below in the mound. The queen will feed on it. She will have and she will lay the eggs there. So the workers will feed the silent drone. Drone is the masculine gender of queen here. Ants female head is known as the queen. Ants male head is known as the drone here. The drone will be sitting there so that it will be helping for the breeding. So here at that time, this workers, they will feed the silent drone. which is in that breeding zone. And then this is about the ants. Now the poet he speaks even about the spider. What does the spider does? It views a web there. So it will view the web and the spider will sit in the middle of the web. So if a fly comes and sits on its web, so it gets trapped there, and this spider it moves and feeds on the fly which is caught in the web. So this web which the spider has viewed, it is a silent threat for the fly. And now this spider will shoot its web. So saliva comes out of its mouth and through it, it will be able to view its web. So it shoots its web to reach across in the widening breach, and it will be swinging with a single thread. So a single thread, through the single thread it views its web, and then through that single thread it will be swinging. As soon as the fly sits there, it just moves up and it catches its prey. So here I think so now you understood the summary of this poem written by Cheryl Sandberg. Now let us move to your grammar. To learn, go through your classwork, your textbook, and even your grammar book also for your test. First let us learn about the adjective and kinds of adjective. Adjective and kinds of adjective. Let us learn the adjective kinds of adjective. What do you mean by adjective? Yes, come on, look at
sufficient money. How many men came to see the lion?
I like those mangoes. Here, which mango did you like? Those mangoes. It is pointing out here. It points out, pointing the thing which is in a distance. You point it and say, use the word those. So here it is pointing out. Whose purse is this? Whose?
Along with the noun, it is in interrogative adjective is used to ask a question. Then possessive adjectives. Possessive adjective used with nouns to show possession. Always keep it in mind and remember it, children. The interrogative adjective will be used with the noun and even the possessive adjective will be used with the noun. Demonstrative adjective also is used with the noun. Distributive adjective. It is used to refer to members of a group as individuals. So distributive adjective, for example, each, every, neither, all these words are said as distributive adjective. Next, proper adjective are formed from proper nouns. So it will be along with the noun or this proper noun will be given. So it is called as proper adjective. Children, now you came to know about 8 kinds of adjectives.
And is an adverb which is used to ask question. Good morning, children. Welcome to today's class. Children, I know that